Welcome back to Footballology. So it's that time of year again where I get to make a couple of people mad at me, maybe get a couple of people to agree with me. I know a lot of times people don't agree with my mock drafts, but usually my mock draft is from my point of view. I don't include trades or anything of that nature, but it's just things I would do if I was those GMs in that position. So without further ado, let's get into it. So at the number one overall pick, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Trevor Lawrence, which this is a no-brainer pick. Short and sweet, straight to the point. Trevor is the best prospect in the whole entire class. In my personal opinion, you're gonna get the most bang for your buck. This dude is a complete quarterback, I think, right now, and ready to start day one. So Jacksonville is not gonna hesitate. This guy's already going number one overall. Let's move on to number two. So at number two overall, this is where it really gets exciting. We have Justin Fields going to the New York Jets, who I think is the second best quarterback in this class. Not Zach Wilson, not Trey Lance, not Mac Jones, not any of those other guys. I think Justin Fields is the second best quarterback in this class. I think the New York Jets should definitely take him, definitely start building around him. And then with them getting rid of Sam Darnold, it only makes sense to take a quarterback here. I couldn't justify taking anyone else but Justin Fields. So Justin Fields at number two overall for the New York Jets. So at number three overall, a lot of people have speculation that Mac Jones can go here, or Justin Fields, or Zach Wilson, a whole bunch of other quarterbacks. But I think Trey Lance is honestly the best fit for Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers at number three. I think Trey Lance can actually do what Kyle Shanahan wants to do from the quarterback position. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't bad. He wasn't horrible by any means at all. But I think the mobility or lack thereof definitely kind of hinder Kyle Shanahan from completely opening up his playbook. Give him a quarterback like Trey Lance or even Justin Fields here, but I think Justin Fields should go number two overall. But whoever's on the board right here, I think is going to be either Justin Fields or Trey Lance. In this situation, it's Trey Lance going number three overall to the Niners. I think this is the best fit for Kyle and now allows him to open up his whole entire playbook in the future. So I know I do have a couple of Atlanta Falcons subscribed to the YouTube channel, and I appreciate you guys for being subscribed. And I have the Atlanta Falcons taking Patrick Surtain. I think that this guy's the best fit for them. I know you guys got AJ Terrell last year in the first round, who I believe that you should have taken. That's a great pick. And now you go get Patrick Surtain, and then you shore up the other cornerback position. Start to shore up this defense and bring this defense back to life. That Super Bowl caliber defense that you guys had. I think that Surtain doesn't quite get you there, but it's definitely a stepping stone in the right direction. The offense doesn't need a lot of help, so Kyle Pitts and all those other guys, it's a luxury pick that the Atlanta Falcons don't have the luxury of doing right now. Surtain is the best fit for them at number four overall. So at number five overall, we have the Cincinnati Bengals taking Rashawn Slater. Now I know a lot of people want Jamar Chase here, or they want Kyle Pitts, or another offensive weapon for Joe Burrow to have somebody to throw the ball to. I get that, I do. It looks good, it looks cute. For me, either it's a defensive player or offensive lineman, and I don't think you guys have the luxury of taking another skill position player right here. So definitely, offensive line is always the way I go. I always lean on offensive line first, and then I look at other positions. Getting a guy like Rashawn Slater now allows him to play tackle. Now I know Jonah Williams wants to play tackle, but we're gonna take Jonah Williams and then kick him into guard. And now I think it fortifies the offensive line with one pick, and you end up getting two positions for one pick at that point. And I think that's the best way to go if you're the Bengals. If you're really serious about protecting Joe Burrow, this is the way you should go. Rashawn Slater and not Penei Sewell. I know Penei Sewell is a guy that a lot of people think is the number one tackle in this draft class. I think Sewell is more of a guard. And so at this point, give me Rashawn Slater at the tackle position. Then we're going to go kick Jonah Williams in to guard. And now all of a sudden we have a really good fortified offense line in front of our young quarterback. So at number six overall, we have the Miami Dolphins. Now, Rashawn Slater's gone because he was a tackle, and now I think we go out for the Miami Dolphins and we get Penei Sewell. And the reason why is because he's going to play guard for us. Now, I really think Penei Sewell has the ability to play guard at a really, really high level. I don't think he's a quality tackle in my personal opinion. I don't think he could be a quality tackle, but what I do see is him being that Quentin Nelson effect on the offense line for the Miami Dolphins. If you're serious about Tua Tagovailoa being your quarterback, take a guy like Penei, kick him in the guard. Now all of a sudden your offense line once again is fortified up front. They need some defensive help here and there, but I don't think there's a pass rusher worth taking as high. And a guy like Michael Parsons isn't really worth taking here. They got a lot of good corners already in place, so a corner is not an option either. So I go back and looking at the offensive line, or even possibly Jamar Chase here definitely is a good pick as well. I think the Miami Dolphins are probably one of those teams picking in the top 10 to have that luxury to go anywhere they really want to. But in my personal opinion, like I said, I always like looking at the offensive line first. Getting a guy like Penei Sewell from Miami definitely allows him to really just beef up the offensive line a little bit more. Then now we can maybe improve on our run game as well. So at number 7 overall, we have the Detroit Lions. Now this is where I have Jamar Chase going, and this pick was really kind of hard for me to make because I feel like the Detroit Lions had some other needs, but there was no player worth taking this high at those needs, if that makes sense. I think personally, getting a guy like Jamar Chase definitely fills the void of Kenny Galladay being gone and also Marvin Jones. You need to start kind of, and if Jared Goff is truly your guy, then you need to start kind of trending in that right direction. Try to surround him with some pieces. Offensive line is definitely an option here as well, but I feel like Jamar Chase for what he's going to bring, and hopefully if Jared Goff's your guy, he can really start to flourish within this offense with a guy like Jamar. Then he also has TJ Hawkinson there. He has DeAndre Swift. He has a lot of good weapons around him at this point, and it gives Jared Goff even more opportunity to flourish and look really good. But like I said, the Detroit Lions are one of those teams that I wouldn't be surprised on draft day to actually trade back. But since we're not doing trades, we're just going to take Jamar Chase right here, and hopefully that we can fortify the rest of our team in the later parts of the draft. So at number 8 overall, we have the Carolina Panthers. Now, when I was going over their roster, the biggest glaring need to me, obviously, was quarterback. But them getting Sam Darnold kind of opened that up a little bit, or kind of closed that down, if you will. If Sam is my guy, which I felt like the Jets should have kept him, because at least try to build around him. But let's say Sam is our guy. I think Kyle Pitts is the perfect fit for him. Now what this does is allow Matt Rule to scheme up some crazy stuff, or at least let that offense scheme up some crazy stuff with not Christian McCaffrey, and now you have Kyle Pitts, and then you have DJ Moore, and you got Robbie Anderson. Like, they can do some crazy stuff in Carolina with a guy like Kyle Pitts playing tight end. And now what it end up happening now is like the mismatches are literally there every play, regardless of the play that you draw up. The mismatch is there, and now it allows Sam Darnold to have some of the most easiest reads that any quarterback will ever have in the NFL for quite some time. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, I definitely feel like they could have used some help here and there as well. Michael Parsons was a guy I was also thinking about taking here, but I think allowing the game to be a little bit easier for Sam Darnold, if he's my guy, allowing it to be a little bit more easier for him is probably more important than hopefully trying to shore up some stuff on defense. But definitely getting a guy like Kyle Pitts would just allow this offense to open up like crazy. Like, it's just going to be wide open. So at number 9, there's a lot of options there. Well, we have Zach Wilson still on the board. We have Matt Jones still on the board. But let's just say, for hypothetically, I'm a big Drew Lock guy, and Drew Lock's my guy. I think I'm set at the wide receiver position. Offensive line, I think, is probably going to be one of the better offensive lines in the league in this upcoming season. So we flip the ball, or we flip it to the defensive side of the ball, and you look at guys like Von Miller and Bradley Chubb coming back. If I add Michael Parsons to this defense, think how scary that could be. And now I got Justin Simmons on the backside as well, on the back end with Kareem Jackson, who definitely found his home at safety. It was crazy. Now to add Michael Parsons to the middle of this defense, wow. Vic Fangio at that point would be like he's back in Chicago, and a lot of things would be just easy for him to scheme up on defense. And the way this defense will fly to the ball, I think it would be really hard to compete with them. Not saying Michael Parsons is just going to elevate this defense to the next level, but definitely he's going to improve this defense. And it's going to be scary if they added a guy like Parsons to it, how fast and how scary this defense would be. Like I said, skill position wise, they're probably one of the most set teams in the league in Denver. And if Drew Lock, and it really comes down to if Drew Lock's my quarterback. And I think that's what's most important, because you can definitely make a case for Matt Jones or Zach Wilson here, and I would definitely understand that completely. But let me get Michael Parsons in the middle of this defense, please, and let this defense just go wreak havoc on the rest of the AFC, and hopefully the NFC, or whoever they play in the NFC. It would be crazy having a guy like Parsons in the middle of this defense. And I think that's, if I'm Denver, I think that's the direction I would go. So at number 10 overall, we have the Dallas Cowboys. I think they take the best corner available. Currently, my best corner available is J.C. Horn. I think you take a guy like J.C. Horn, and with a little bit of attitude and a little bit of swagger that he has to his game, definitely add some attitude and swag to the secondary in Dallas. That's something that they were completely lacking last year. They were the laughingstock of the league in a lot of cases as well. Get a guy like J.C. Horn, fill that void at corner, fill one of the voids of corner, and hopefully start to really have this defense turn that corner. I think offensively, there's nothing you can really ask for from the Dallas offense. I mean, they got one of the best skill positions in the league. They got one of the better offensive lines in the league as well. And if Dak can come back at full health, then this team will be right where they need to be. Getting a guy like J.C. Horn right here, or even if Surtain fell this far, whoever, the best available corner, but definitely getting a top corner would be the only way to go if you're Dallas. There's no other way to go. Unless somebody wants to trade, then maybe I might pull the trigger. I don't know. But right now, J.C. Horn's my guy, and I think he's the best fit for Dallas. At 11 overall, we have the New York Giants taking Elijah Vera Tucker. I think I said that right. I'm putting him at guard. I think fortify the interior of this offensive line a little bit more. We definitely got Nate Solder coming back next year. We got Will Hernandez. Getting a guy like Tucker and putting him in at guard as well. Just really trying to build up this offensive line and trying to protect Daniel Jones as much as possible. And I get it as well, is that if they're doing what they're doing this year, it's yes to see if Daniel Jones has the juice. But if he doesn't have it, then we can easily go out next year and go get a young quarterback and plug him right in, because we'll have an established chemistry offensive line in place. We would have some good skill position players in place. And then whoever the young quarterback is can come in and hopefully flourish within the offense. So this is a win-win, in my opinion, with this pick. Just really trying to build up on Daniel Jones. And when I was looking at the defense looked like it's trending in the right direction. And even late last year, the defense is really starting to turn it on, which was really crazy. And I think the NFC East defenses this year are going to be sick. But the Giants defense definitely started turning it on down the stretch. So hopefully they keep that same momentum and chemistry defensively. And then we add some more pieces to it in the later rounds. But I think getting Tucker definitely just gives you that ability to see if Daniel Jones got the juice. And if he doesn't, I can easily go plug in a young quarterback and see if he has it, because I know I have the skill positions. I know I'm going to have the offensive line with the chemistry, and at that point I would just be missing my quarterback. So at number 12 overall, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. I had them taking Jeremiah Owusu. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name or his other last name, but I think that this is the perfect fit for the Eagles. That defense is so stout. Like, I think it's a really good defense, don't get me wrong. But I think it doesn't have a lot of athleticism or a lot of playmaking ability within the defense. And I think that's what something Jeremiah can add to it. I think he's a guy that can come in and add that speed and athleticism, but at the same time add some level of playmaking to it as well. I think that's the way they need to go. They need to add some kind of athleticism to this defense, because I think it's a very stingy and stout defense. I think it's a defense that can really be annoying at times. But I think that you need that playmaker or the athlete in the middle of the defense to really kind of put it over the top. And that's one thing the Eagles are missing. Now, Philly fans, I know you're going to hate me for this, because we have receivers out there, and you guys are definitely banging the table for a receiver. I get it. I do. I get it. But I'd rather double down in the later rounds on receiver, because there's some quality receivers in the later rounds that a lot of people are not talking about right now. But I'd rather double down on receiver in the later rounds, get a guy like Jeremiah to really fortify this defense and take it to the next level. And especially having a young quarterback like Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is our guy, and moving forward, that we need to do whatever we possibly can to make sure that his job is a little bit easier, and getting a defense that can really make some plays and take the ball away and do the little things that really make his job a little bit easier, I think is the best way to go. Double down on receiver in the later rounds, and hopefully we'll find a gem that way. And I'm not completely comfortable taking a receiver just yet at the position, but I get it if they did as well. So at 13 overall, we have the Los Angeles Chargers taking Caleb Farley. Now, I think Farley can definitely add some kind of level of physicality to this defense. On the back end especially, Derwin James hasn't been healthy for the last couple of years, which is very unfortunate. But if Derwin James comes back, that's a definitely step in the right direction. Nasir Adderley was another guy that I was really excited for last year as well. So that's a step in the right direction if he's healthy. And then the middle of this defense is really stout as well. If Joey Bosa stays healthy, he can be even more vicious. Like, that's the one thing about this Chargers defense, is just health. But I didn't feel comfortable taking another pass rusher here. That was definitely an option, but I didn't like some of the pass rushers this high in the draft. If I'm the Chargers and I'm looking for a pass rusher, I'd rather trade back and create more value for the pick and then take a pass rusher that way. But there are also a lot of draftable pass rushers in the later part of this draft as well that I feel comfortable taking. So maybe double down in the later rounds on a pass rusher. Offensive line was definitely a play here as well, because Justin Herbert, looking at the offensive line, they completely tore it down. But once again, I feel like there's a couple other guys I can get. Let me get a top corner. Hopefully he goes out there and start and maybe be a star corner, especially with Chris Harris getting a little bit older. Let's try to get that cornerback position a little bit more filled out because I don't like the late round corners as much as I like the late round tackles or guards. So at 14th overall, we have the Minnesota Vikings taking Christian Darsall. I think this guy is the best pick for them. He adds some level of physicality to allow them to keep running the ball like they want to in Minnesota, but while still protecting Kirk Cousins and allowing Kirk Cousins to stay firm in the pocket and allow him to push the ball down the field, which is also something else they want to do as well. So this guy can definitely help both in the run game and the pass game and just really build up this offensive line because when I was looking at the roster, they have some holes here and there, but the offensive line definitely looked depleted. So they definitely need to add a guy like him and probably double down again, or not double down, but go back in the second round and probably get another tackle as well. I wouldn't be surprised. But getting a guy like Darsall is just going to allow this offensive line to still stay stout and firm in the run game. So at 15th overall, we have the New England Patriots, which I really hate doing a mock draft when it comes to the Patriots because you never know what they're going to do, but what they do is really legit and makes sense at the same time. It's crazy. But Zach Wilson and Mac Jones are still on the board, and Cam Newton only signed a 1 year deal. Here's an opportunity for you to go out and get a young quarterback, and I think Mac Jones fit exactly what New England wants to do. They definitely tried to spread their wings last year is the best way to put it with Cam Newton and seeing what they can be a more mobile offense and that in that regard. But I don't think it fit New England. It didn't look right in New England. Getting a guy like Mac Jones definitely allows you to get back to that traditional style of play they like. Going drop back quarterback, protect him, let him make some accurate passes down the field. Mac Jones gives you those things. Not Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's a little bit more of a creative quarterback, a gunslinger mentality kind of guy. But Matt Jones is that traditional. I'm going to drop back. I'm going to make some accurate passes and let my skill position players do what they do best. And so I think that's why if you're in New England going Matt Jones makes sense. But like I said, I hate picking for New England. But I would like to see them get Mac Jones. And if he doesn't fall to them at this point, I can definitely see them just kind of chugging along and possibly getting a guy like David Mills in the second or third round or in the later part of the draft. So they still have options at quarterback, but I like Matt Jones at this point because he has that more of a consistent accuracy and then surround him with weapons later. Like I said, Cam Newton only signed a 1 year deal, so they got to find somewhere to go. So at 16th overall, we have the Arizona Cardinals. And I know championships aren't won in the offseason, but damn. Okay, like they've had a high caliber offseason, if I may say so myself. Like I'm really impressed with the offseason that they had and some of the people that they're able or players they were able to bring in and how this team is trending in the right direction. With that being said, a guy like Trayvon Merrick, they can add to their roster. I definitely think that he adds that playmaking ability on the back half. Now, granted, I know they got Buda Baker, but I think this guy adds another dimension to that playmaking ability in the secondary and just really bolsters his defense and allows his defense to get even bigger and even faster and even scarier, which would definitely be even more legit. So I definitely, and when I was looking over the Arizona roster, they didn't have a lot of options. Like they feel like they filled a lot of voids in this offseason, which that in itself is really impressive. But that Merrick, I think, is the guy that can kind of fill a void, the only void that I could truly find on this roster. Now, I definitely know they need some corners. That could definitely be a possibility. Picking up a guy like James Conner definitely kind of duct tapes the running back position for now. But they also got Chase Edmonds there, who I think they are big on, and also Ito Benjamin. So they got pieces in a lot of places that I think they're really big on or comfortable with. Getting a guy like Merrick just felt like the right pick, and like I said, just going to make this defense even better than what it was pre-draft. So that's all I have for you guys in this part one. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about my picks. It was you like your team's pick. If you rather for your team to go in another direction. If you rather see your team trade back. I can also see a lot of trades happening in the top 10. But I feel like some of these picks made sense for that team. And I put a lot more value on offensive linemen than I think a lot of other people do. So that's why you see a lot more offensive linemen in my drafts as well. Because I think having a good offensive line, you can never go wrong with that. But definitely, I'll be in the comment section waiting for you guys. Let me know what you think. And if you're not a footballologist yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. Gonna hit that subscribe button today. Hit that subscribe button today and become a footballologist.